Oh, it's on now. Can you hear me now? Oh my, it's resounding as well. Uh huh. So, is this better? Is this good enough? Is this resounding? Okay. So, sometimes these kind of little technical glitches happen, and we just have to take them in our stride. And me, especially, because I talk about not being perfect all the time. So, yeah, I hope you will let that pass and, let's get along with what I was talking about. So, I was talking about the bridge today because that's our topic for today. And I was saying that my heart goes out to our Gen Z and our millennial friends. While they are the most connected in history, they're the most connected generation in history, they seem to be the ones that are also in pockets the loneliest. Now, how can that happen? You be the most connected and you're also the most lonely generation. So there are people who are very well connected, and all of them generally are very well connected, and that is because of social media uh, and connectivity over the world, right? However, some of them you will notice are all by themselves. And yes, independence is something that we all should have. We've all been independent and we've all had the need to be independent. And And that that is is great. great. So we can actually be independent, but being independent does not necessarily mean that you are alone, right? And those of you who are with me on this, please do say yes. So I know that you're with me on this, right? So this episode is not about making more friends, having more friends around you, having more social contacts. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. Today we're talking about remembering that life is not meant to be entirely alone. Our lives are not meant to be entirely alone. Okay? So, to settle in, I would like for us to take 3 deep breaths. Breathe along with me. Breathe in, breathe out. Once again, breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out again. And as you settle in for the day today, my dear collective, let us talk about what we are, for what we've decided for this episode. So let's say you're drinking coffee with someone. Okay, let me just get a coffee mug so I can just tell you you're drinking coffee with somebody. Okay, and sometimes you drink it by yourself. How come this very coffee becomes more interesting, becomes tastier, feels better, seems more encouraging when you're drinking it with somebody else? It's the same coffee, it's the same coffee mug. How can it get better? It's simply because of the company, right? So that's what we are looking at today. That company makes things better for us, and life works better when you have company to go along with it, right? So imagine a tiny bridge, okay? Nothing great, just a rope bridge. You know how those rope bridges are? Have you ever seen one built with just logs and rope somewhere? Maybe when you're traveling, you would have seen it. Really nothing fancy, just something to help people get to the other side. Maybe of a little stream or a little, and let's say it's something like a deep gorge between two parts of the same village or whatever it may be, right? Now, one person crosses this bridge every morning. Every morning, this one person crosses this bridge, okay? Eventually, the bridge begins to wear, right? It begins to start giving way, the rope gives way, the wood starts cracking because it is in the open environment. There is water, there is sunlight, all kinds of things. There are people walking on it, right? It's not because the bridge is weak. It is never because the bridge is weak. It is because it is carrying the weight. That bridge is carrying that weight, right? And one day, this bridge, because it's carrying the weight as it wears down, the villagers come there, they see it, and they just repair it. A few extra ropes, bind the breaking logs together, or insert another piece, a thinner piece of a log, so it holds together, tie it up. They repair it. They don't talk about replacing it, they don't talk about throwing it away, they just repair it. But you notice something? Nobody says the bridge failed, take away the bridge. They simply understand that the bridge requires care. It just needs a little bit of care to be able to do its job, which is to take people to the other side, right? So, you know what? People need care too. You need care. I need care, right? We need care. And some of us have spent years trying to prove how strong we are. Years. And maybe real strength isn't pretending that you can do everything on your own and you don't need support. Like I mentioned in the 8:30 post, I'd like to tell you something. There was this once when I had to take my mother to the hospital, and I took her to the hospital. And I was there when a friend casually called, and he was like, "Where are you?" So I said, "I'm at so and so hospital." He said, "Why? What happened?" "For a checkup." I said, "No, I've had to admit mom." He was like, "Okay, where are you right now?" I mean, like, and are you in the middle of something? I said, "No." And he said, "Okay, and you'll be there till later?" I said, "Yes." In an hour's time, he just showed up. I will never forget that. He just showed up. And because I was just sitting and waiting in the hospital, and you know how the hospital environment is, sometimes it kind of gets to you. He never said a thing to me. I never said anything. I didn't complain about the hospital or anything like that. He just said, "Come, let's go for a walk." So I remember we just walked up and down that street 2 or 3 times. So in the middle of it, he just asked me, "How's mom? What is your sister saying? What's your brother saying? Oh, do you think that, it's going to take her a day or two to recover? What's happening?" And he just casually slipped this in. He just said, "Next time something like this happens, why don't you call me?" Can you imagine how that made me feel? It's not like I wasn't going to reach out for help, right? But sometimes we just get used to doing things on our own. We just get used to doing things one thing after another by ourselves. We don't even realize that we need help. Or it would be nice to have help. It would be nice to have someone there with you to make things easier for you. We don't remember these things sometimes, right? And remember that every big corporation, every big business family is able to do its job only because of support staff, employees. There are so many rungs. You have a CEO, You have the C suite, then you have the vice presidents, then you have the senior managers, then you have managers, you have teams in between. That tier structure allows a company to function. And when we understand that about work, we should give it a thought about ourselves also, right? We should understand that maybe by seeking help, by asking for help and getting a project done, if we can make something happen at work, maybe by seeking help and asking for help, sometimes we can make things easier on ourselves, right? Maybe real strength isn't pretending that we can do it all by ourselves. Maybe real strength is knowing when to walk across the bridge instead of trying to swim alone, right? So that's food for thought for today. And today, again, we're going to be doing that little exercise where we close our eyes and we do a simple little visualization. But in the meanwhile, I want to tell you independence is very valuable. I value my independence. I'm sure you do too. And especially our Gen Z and our millennial friends value their independence, right? It's important to be financially independent. It's important to be physically independent. It's important to be able to think on our own and do things on our own. Yes. My friends, isolation is extremely expensive. Isolation is extremely expensive. So when you realize that you're going into a mode of isolation, we need to make sure that we get out of it. Or when we see somebody going into isolation, we need to make sure that they get out of it, right? You can be very capable. You can be very capable of doing a lot of things, but a little bit of encouragement can take you a long way, right? You can be very successful. But whatever you're doing, remember, people are your real currency, right? You create a product, people need to use it. You create a service, people need to use it, right? Similarly, when you are successful, you need people around you to notice that you've done this really well. And when people tell you, wow, this is something, it's a kind of a stoking that you get that makes you feel wonderful. You may need a listening ear someday, just because you want to thrash out this project that you have in your mind that has so many options and you want to choose that one thing that will make it really successful, right? You may want a listening ear for just that. And being human isn't a weakness, my friends. We are human. And we may as well accept that we're human. And it's the one thing that you and I and all of us have in common, being human, right? So, with that, let us close our eyes, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out again. And imagine that you're walking through a quiet forest at sunrise. And as you walk through the forest, you see the sunlight streaming in through the big trees. You feel the dry leaves crackling and crunching under your feet. You smell the fresh air in the forest. And as you look ahead of you, you see a wooden bridge at a distance. Begin walking towards that wooden bridge. And as you walk towards that wooden bridge, you notice on the other side stand people who have quietly shaped your life. A teacher, a friend, a colleague, a parent, a grandparent, someone who believed in you, someone who forgave you, someone who simply stayed. Like, our grandparents just stayed there while we did things. We played in the mud, they didn't say a thing, they just waited with us there. Played with your toys, they just waited, they didn't say a thing, right? Someone simply stayed there. You don't have to speak, just notice them. Just notice how none of us arrive there alone. Now imagine someone standing on the other side of the bridge, someone who could use a little kindness today, maybe a smile, a little message, a check in, a thank you. Ask yourself, who can I become a bridge for today? Who can I become a bridge for today? Feel your heart soften. Take another deep breath. Place your hands over your heart and whisper, together we rise. Together we rise. Now you can rub your palms together and place them over your face and your eyes and slowly open your eyes. And today's experiment, my friends, is to just reach out to one person, not with a long message or for a long chat. No, just say something that is genuine, like I was thinking of you. Thank you for doing this, or hoping your day is going well. No agenda, no expectation. Simply become a bridge. Just a bridge. So, today, my friends, I want you to notice someone around you who may be carrying something invisible, something heavy. You may never know what it is, but a little kindness doesn't need the full story, it doesn't need a full confession. Okay? So, you may notice people around you, and may you let yourself be noticed as well. Strong people always don't stand alone. We do sometimes require people around us. We stand strong together. And tomorrow, we're going to discover one of the quietest forms of confidence. So, once again, begin again. Thank you for being here. Bye bye. It's taken a little longer today. Thank you for being here. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day, and we meet tomorrow on day 10. Have a great day. Bye bye.